So, today I'm going to be comparing Prime Minister Modi's visit to France and America. Let's begin. Hello, I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries around the globe. Today I'm going to be talking about Indian nationalism with respect to current events, and that is Modi's visit to America and France. I want to see the agreements and decisions made by both countries and to see how the uh, different visits went and to compare and contrast them. Let's get started. This is the visit, the joint statement, India France joint statement on the visit of Honorable Prime Minister of India to France to meet the President of the French Republic, Mr. Emmanuel Macron. France and India co chaired the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit, gathering heads of state and government, leaders of international organizations, members of civil society, etc., to build on the important milestones reached during the Bletchley Park November 2023 and Seoul May 2024 summits. India's Consulate General in Marseille. They also visited the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor Facility. I'm glad that India is increasing its consulates in France, not just having them in the capital city of Paris. That increases India's diplomatic influence in the country. The two leaders reiterated their call for reformed and effective multilateralism to sustain an equitable and peaceful international order. The two leaders stressed in particular the urgent need for the reform of the United Nations Security Council and agreed to coordinate closely in multilateral fora, including on UNSC matters. France reiterated its firm support for India's permanent membership of the UNSC and regulation of use of the veto in case of mass atrocities. And so this, I'm glad that India still has France's support for the Security Council permanent membership, which is had for a long time. I hope somehow India gets China on board with this, and that they want to regulate the use of the veto. That's good, especially in case of mass atrocities. I think that if India and some other countries like the G4, Germany, Japan, and Brazil, I think, along with India, become permanent members, then their veto will have to be regulated. I don't think the way it is now, where one country can simply stop a UN resolution, is appropriate. And President Macron and Prime Minister Modi announced the grand inauguration of India France Year of Innovation in New Delhi on March 2026 by land, launching its logo. I'm glad that India and France are going to work on innovation. And yeah, an entire year dedicated to innovation between two countries next year is a good idea. Uh, they welcome the continuation of the cooperation of air and maritime assets in line with the ambitious defense industrial roadmap agreed in 2024. Both leaders commended progress in collaboration in construction of Scorpion submarines in India, including indigenization and, in particular, the work carried out with a view to the integration of DRDO's developed air independent propulsion into P 75 Scorpion submarines. Glad that India is constructing Scorpion submarines because India needs more submarines to compete with China and also maintain its lead over Pakistan and be able to dominate the Indian Ocean. Glad that they're going to work on air and maritime assets together, and that India is constructing these uh, submarines in India. This will give Indian workers a knowledge of how to construct submarines. So in the future, we won't have to buy them, we can make them ourselves. Of course, not through stealing the technology, but genuinely learning and then applying it ourselves. Possible integration of the integrated combat system into future P-75A submarines. And commissioning the sixth and final submarine of the P-75 Scorpion class project, INS Berkshire, on 15 January 2025. Glad that the final submarine was commissioned this year. Discussions in missiles, helicopter engines, and jet engines, all good. Prime Minister Modi invited the French army to take a closer look at the Pinaka MBLR. That's good. Good that India is now exporting weapons to France, not just importing. Both leaders appreciated the regular conduct of military exercises in all domains, including maritime exercises and joint patrolling by maritime patrol aircraft. This shows the importance that they are putting into the naval strength because that is where the commerce is, the Indian Ocean, and France has some in presence in the Indian Ocean and especially in Africa, which they can use to help India bolster its security of the region and make sure that China doesn't become the dominant player there. The recent visit of the French carrier strike group Charles de Gaulle to India in January 2025, followed by the Indian Navy's participation in the French multinational exercise La Perouse and the future conduct of the Verna exercise in March 2025. Great that they're both cooperating with each other more. Welcome the launch of FRIND X, France India Defense Startup Excellence in Paris on 5th to 6th December 2024, involving the DGA, the Defense Innovation Agency. This collaborative platform brings together stakeholders across defense ecosystems, including defense startups, innovators, incubators, accelerators, and academia. It's good that startups are going to um, be working on defense products, weapons, and equipment for both France and India. It'll hopefully these startups will eventually become large scale companies. Both leaders welcomed the ongoing discussions between l'Office National d'Études et de Recherches Aerospatiales and Defense Research and Development Organization to identify technologies for R&D partnerships. Indian students alongside French students in the challenge on distributed intelligence launched recently by Interdisciplinary Center for Defense and Security for Institut Polytechnique de Paris and they underlined uh, key importance of strengthening India-EU relations. That's yeah, I'm not a fan of the EU. I don't view them as a nationalistic organization, but they do exist, and India needs to improve its relations with them. So I'm glad that France will help India on that matter, especially since there's an upcoming India EU summit in New Delhi. And nuclear energy is an essential part of the energy mix for strengthening energy security and transitioning towards a low carbon economy. This is a great way to have renewable energy without hurting our economy because solar and wind, I don't think that they can power national economies at the same level that fossil fuels can, but fossil fuels are causing climate change, according to most scientists, and I do understand they need to be reduced, including in developing countries, and nuclear energy is a good substitute for them. And efforts in cooperation on peaceful use of nuclear energy, notably in relation with the Jaitapur nuclear power plant project. I hope that this gets off, that nuclear power plant project is developed in Jaitapur. They welcomed the first meeting of the Special Task Force on Civil Nuclear Energy and welcomed the signing of a letter of intent on small modular reactor and advanced modular reactor, two new types of nuclear technology. Now, this is the India US joint statement by Prime Minister Modi. As the leaders of sovereign and vibrant democracies that value freedom, the rule of law, human rights, and pluralism, the basic things that every summit of India and the US talks about, President Trump and Prime Minister Modi reaffirmed the strength of the India US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership, anchored in mutual trust, shared interests, global goodwill, and robust engagement of their citizens. Glad that these two are reaffirming the strength of the partnership, especially since it's a global, it's not just bilateral, it's a global comprehensive partnership. They launched a new initiative, the US India Compact, catalyzing opportunities for military partnership, accelerated commerce, and technology for the 21st century for transformative change across key pillars of cooperation. I'll talk about this later in the statement. For defense, highlighting the deepening convergence of US India strategic interests, the leaders reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to a dynamic defense partnership spanning multiple domains. Announced plans to sign this year a new 10-year framework for the US India major defense partnership in the 21st century. Good that so there's already a 10-year framework work from 2015 that lasted until this year. It will end sometime this year. I'm glad it's being renewed. India needs a good defense relationship with the US. Significant integration of US origin defense items into India's inventory to date, including the C-130J Super Hercules, C-17 Globemaster III, B-81 Poseidon aircraft, CH-447 Chinooks, MA-60R Seahawks, and AH-64E Apaches, Harpoon and anti-ship missiles, M777 howitzers, and MQ-9Bs. And US would expand defense sales and co-production with India to strengthen interoperability and defense industrial cooperation. They announced plans to pursue this year new procurements and co-production arrangements for Javelin anti-tank guided missiles and Stryker infantry combat vehicles in India to rapidly meet India's defense requirements. This is good that they announced plans to pursue this year that India is going to buy anti-tank guided missiles and infantry combat vehicles. Especially that these will be co-produced. This will be good for India's defense industry and will create jobs in India. And they pledged to accelerate defense technology cooperation across space, air defense, missile, maritime, and undersea technologies, with the US announcing a review of its policy on releasing fifth generation fighters and undersea systems to India. I think this is talking about a reference to the F-35, which the US says that they may sell to India. They're working towards that. And building on the US India Roadmap for Defense Industrial Cooperation, a new initiative, the Autonomous Systems Industry Alliance Asia, to scale industry partnerships and production in the Indo Pacific. Partnership between Anduril Industries and Mahindra Group in advanced autonomous technologies to co develop and co produce state of the art maritime systems and advanced AI enabled counter unmanned aerial system to strengthen regional security, and between L3 Harris and Bharat Electronics for co-development of active cloud array systems. So yeah, great that unmanned aerial systems, drones we've seen in Ukraine and Azerbaijan war, that drones, unmanned aerial systems are very important. And I'm glad that they're going to work on this for the Indo-Pacific, elevating military cooperation across all domains, land, air, sea, and cyberspace. Great. And that they're going to have a tri-service exercise, Tiger Triumph, which was first inaugurated in 2019, and with larger scale and complexity to be hosted in India. The fact that it was first inaugurated in 2019 shows how much emphasis Trump gave to this relationship when he was first president. I'm glad he's continuing that. Expand trade and investment to make their citizens more prosperous, nations stronger, economies more innovative, and supply chains more resilient. They resolve to deepen the US-India trade relationship to promote growth that ensures fairness, national security, and job creation. A new goal for bilateral trade, Mission 500, aiming to more than double total bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030. India right now is trades with America about $118 billion. That's second to China. Sometimes it goes to first. Hopefully, this happens, a trade of $500 billion with the US will really help India. It will give it access to America's market and American goods and services in India. And now their leaders announced plans to negotiate the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trade agreement by fall 2025. This is different than what normally is called the free trade agreement. Not sure what the difference is. The leaders committed to designate senior representatives to advance these negotiations and to ensure that the trade relationship fully reflects the aspirations of the compact, and will take an integrated approach to deepen bilateral trade across the goods and services sector. Energy security. The leaders recommitted to the US India Energy Security Partnership, including in oil, gas, and civil nuclear energy. They want to establish the United States as a leading supplier of crude oil and petroleum products and liquefied natural gas to India, in line with the growing needs and priorities of our dynamic economies. Right now, I think it's either Russia or Saudi Arabia who are the largest suppliers of crude oil and petroleum products and liquefied natural gas to India. But I have no problem if America becomes that through competition. It'll be good for India, and uh, good for India to have a- access to oil from different countries, not just Russia or not just America, but from both. Commitment to fully realize the US India 123 Civil Nuclear Agreement by moving forward with plans to work together to build US designated nuclear reactors in India through large scale localization, possibly through technology transfer. Hopefully, this happens. Uh, Both sides welcomed a recent budget announcement by Government of India to take up amendments to the Atomic Energy Act and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act for nuclear reactors, and further decided to establish bilateral arrangements in accordance with CLNDA that would address the issue of civil liability and facilitate the collaboration of Indian and US industry in the production and deployment of nuclear reactors. US India Trust, transforming the relationship utilizing strategic technology initiative, which will catalyze government to government, academia, and private sector collaboration to promote application of critical and emerging technologies in areas like defense, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, quantum, biotechnology, energy and space, while encouraging the use of verified technology vendors and ensuring sensitive technologies are protected. This will help India uh, increase the technology industry and develop advanced technologies. The strategic importance of critical minerals for emerging technology and advanced manufacturing. India and the United States will accelerate collaboration in research and development and promote investment across the entire critical mineral value chain, great, as well as through the Mineral Security Partnership, of which both the United States and India are members. This will really help both if they have access to rare earth minerals and critical minerals for technology development. That they have a close partnership between the US and India is central to a free and open, peaceful, and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. As Quad partners, the leaders reiterated that this partnership is underpinned by the recognition of ASEAN centrality. And yeah, glad that Quad is back and is going to be given more importance, which Biden gave it importance, but he wasn't as gung ho about it as Trump was, who restarted it. Biden mainly took it into less security domain and more into vaccines and healthcare and environmental stuff, which is good. But the main thing should be a security, and I think India should emphasize that more. Prime Minister Modi looks forward to hosting President Trump in New Delhi for the Quad Leaders Summit, ahead of which the leaders will activate new Quad initiatives on shared airlift capacity to support civilian response to natural disasters and maritime patrols to improve interoperability. The leaders resolved to increase cooperation, enhance diplomatic consultation, increase tangible collaboration with partners in the Middle East. The leaders plan to convene partners for the India Middle East Europe corridor and the I2U2 group, which is India, Israel, and US and UAE group within the next 6 months in order to announce new initiatives in 2025. This is great. The India, Middle East, Europe corridor will really help India get connected to the Middle East and Europe. So I think from this week, I would say that this is both visits were good, although the difference is that the France visit is more of a normal diplomatic visit without any real conflicts or controversies in, while the Trump visit is a bit more controversial, where Trump spoke about tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, and was trying to get India to buy less from Russia, not directly, but indirectly by promoting American goods. So there's a bit of a geopolitical tension between that meeting, but still a good meeting. And I think both meetings were successful, and that I think India should pursue its relations with both the US and France, that both countries can help us. And the Trump visit was went well. Trump is seems to be happy with us. He didn't complain about us like he did with other countries where he would, like where when he met Jordan's king, he was talking about taking over Gaza. He didn't say anything crazy like that, and he was willing to work with us on tariffs to come to some agreement. And yeah, I think we've handled him well, and I think he's uh, in good spirits with us. I think he's continuing the attitude he has for Modi in from his first term. And yeah, I think that which visit was better? I think both were good. I don't think you can compare. And but I think the Trump visit, the American visit, was more important because we needed to get start off well with Trump in his second term, and I think we did. And yeah, so good job, Prime Minister Modi and the entire External Affairs Ministry who made these visits a success. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you want to see other videos about Indian nationalism and current events, click here. If you want to see my previous video, click here. If you want to see the sources I used for this video, click the link to the description below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.